Hey everyone, thank you for watching a Spikes and Gills YouTube video on the review of the RHINO 180 see-through hunting blind. My name's Justin. Now this blind here, I hunted out of this exact same RHINO 180 hunting blind this past spring turkey season here in Maine. And I want to first show you some scenes where I was turkey hunting out of this exact blind just this past spring. And here they are now. I got one coming, guys. Coming up. Got one right here. I don't know if it's a male or female. Cool. Now, as you just saw, that hen turkey was extremely close. She was like 10 yards away from this RHINO 180 blind, and I could see her extremely well. I was able to film her through that mesh, that see-through mesh at the bottom portion of this blind. And I couldn't see her through my shooting holes, but that's okay, because I was able to stay hidden and prevent her from seeing any movement from me. I was able to watch her and film her through the see-through mesh of the RHINO 180 blind without that hen turkey spooking, and she was only 10 yards away. And that's really cool features of the RHINO 180 hunting blind are, one, as you can see here, it's brushed in. It's got these little sewed in pockets or little loops. It has all these loops, like hundreds of them, sewed in around the upper portion of the blind, middle and lower portions of the blind, so you could put sticks and branches and leaves in these little loops to brush it in, to camouflage it and hide it much better. So that's one feature of the RHINO 180 that's really cool. It allows you to more easily and conveniently brush it in and hide it that much better. And now, I don't know if you know this, but by putting a blind out in the wide open, allowing the deer to see all angles of the blind, well, actually, believe it or not, makes them not spook as much from the blind. They seem to be more at ease and comfortable if they can see all angles and parts of that blind, because see all of it and knowing that it's not moving, it's actually a stationary object, it's not moving, it's not posing any threat to them. They're going to see that very much quicker by having it out in the wide open. And having it set up months, 2 to 3 months prior to the deer hunting season, it's just going to allow those local deer coming by here often to drink here in the watering hole or going to the food plots up here. It's going to allow them to get used to this blind being there, and being in the wide open, allow them to walk around all angles and sides of it, to study it and look at it. It's going to just make them become that much more comfortable with it. They're not going to spook the next time they come by. And yeah, so the RHINO 180 hunting blind has the silent slides. There's no noisy Velcro or zippers to spook game when needing to make your shooting window a little bigger or more narrow to hide yourself more. It has those silent slides, conveniently and easily slide up and down to adjust your windows or shooting holes. And the door of this RHINO 180 hunting blind has a snap buckle and these flexible little snaps that snap over the rod, the support rods that go into the hub in the upper corners of the blind. And it's actually a silent door. There's no noisy zipper or Velcro to deal with when going in and out of your blind. You can silently open the door to get into your blind and silently open it to leave the blind, so you're not spooking any deer that might be close by. And so it has the silent entry and silent exit. So that's really neat. See 180 degrees from left to right, from ground to ceiling out of this blind. It has the silent slides for the windows, so there's no noisy Velcro zippers. It has a silent buckle and silent clips on the rod, the support rods of the blind, so you can silently enter and exit the blind without spooking any game doing that. And yeah, what else? The RHINO 180 hunting blind has really strong construction. As you see, I've got like extra weight on the roof of this blind. I've brushed it in with a bunch of branches and leaves, and there's some pieces of bark and dirt, and I put all that extra weight on top of that hunting blind to brush it in to break up the corners and edges of the blind. Now that's one important thing with all hunting blinds, actually, when brushing them in. The idea of brushing them in is to break up those sharp edges and sharp corners of the blind that make it stand out much more. You want to just break up the silhouette of it, just make it mesh in, make it blend into your surroundings by brushing in the corners and top edges of that blind. Now, the deer are going to spook way less with a brushed in blind like this, breaking up those. They're going to not see it as easily. So yeah, keep that in mind when brushing your blinds. This is a tip for you. The hub style RHINO 180 hunting blind. That means a hub style design. What that means is the all four corners of the hunting blind can push in or pull out when setting up the blind. what you need to do is line up your all four corners of the roof of the blind, and you pull out the top hub first, and that lifts it up, and then you grab that bottom hub right by your knees and pull that out, and then go around to all three other sides, pulling out those hubs, and then voila, you got your RHINO 180 hunting blind set up. So those hubs, they're strongly constructed. They got real strong screws. The support rods that are holding up the blind, they are screwed and secured into that hub, and they're also very secure up in the corner. There's a real strong pocket that the rod slid into. You can replace any of these support rods on this blind. If they break, crack on you, they're very easy to replace. You could just unscrew the rod in the hub, and then it just slides out of that pocket up in the corner, and you can order any replacement rods, supports for the blind to replace if any happen to break, crack, and that will happen. The older the blind gets, the more use it gets. One may crack or break, and they're just super easy to replace, so keep that in mind. They're very strong, durable, flexible rods. It's going to take a lot of force and pressure to crack and break and snap those support rods in the corners of this blind. But heaven forbid if it does happen to you, just know that you can order replacement ones, and they're easy to exchange and replace, so that way you still use your hunting blind for years to come. I also want to show you some scenes of deer only 5 to 8 yards away from this RHINO 180 hunting blind when I was hunting out of it. And here are those scenes now. Now that was really neat. That deer come in super close to this blind with me in it, and it couldn't see me at all. I was moving quite a bit while I was adjusting the camera, moving the camera, zooming in and out, and I didn't have no face mask on at all, hiding the shine of my face. I was just sitting way back in the back corner, and that deer come in super, super close, and I was able to film it and watch it through that see-through mesh of the hunting blind without that deer spooking. And those other deer come in real close too. How neat is that? So the RHINO 180 hunting blind is a superb blind. It allows you to keep your shooting holes real small, to keep you even more hidden, and all at the same time being able to still see those animals out there, you know, super close, within 10 yards. You can be in this blind, have a shooting hole big enough to shoot an arrow through with your bow, and have deer come within like 10 and even as close as 5 yards without them seeing you at all. And as long as you stay super quiet, that deer's not going to spook, and you're going to be able to get a shot off with your bow with that animal really close to that blind. A lot of these other blinds that aren't see-through, 180 degrees see-through, you know, you only have those shooting holes to look through, to film through, to shoot through, to see through. And, you know, you could have animals real close and not see them at all. And it causes you to have to stretch your neck up high to look out and peer out that shooting hole. And when you do that, that deer's going to spook, or that turkey's going to spook, and they're going to run off. I mean, how many of you have had that experience with any other hunting blind where you had to peer out your shooting hole to see what was coming and that animal spooked? Hey, leave your comments below. Let me know if that's happened to you. It's happened to me many times. Share with me your stories below in comments. I'd greatly appreciate it. Future, I'm going to have a lot of hunting experiences out of this RHINO 180 hunting blind that I want to share with you, that I want you to see. So please go ahead and subscribe to the Spikes and Gills YouTube channel if you're not already. Click that notification bell so you'll be notified of all future uploads by Spikes and Gills, so you won't miss any hunts out of this RHINO 180 hunting blind. Hey, hit that like button for me before you leave. It just helps the algorithm boost this video out further so it gets more impressions, so we'll get more views and likes, comments, all that good stuff. Greatly appreciate the support, guys. Hey, see you next time.